Do you like the show and you want to make your own? Well, let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create. Now, Anchor is going to distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast. No minimum listenership needed. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Welcome into the Monday edition. The Drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I am your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's show. We will get things started with our text line. It is game week. That means let's get those texts and phone calls going. Are you excited for Marshall's game against Norfolk State? I asked Coach Huff about that. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. It's real now. I was part of the Sun Belt conference call where all the Sun Belt coaches come together and talk to the media. We're going to hear from Coach Huff tomorrow as well. His actual presser for the local media, for us. We've got that coming up tomorrow, but we'll hear from him here in a little bit on getting ready for Norfolk State. We have got your phone calls and texts in, as I mentioned. A lot of things happening over the weekend for the Thundering Herd, for all the sports. And high school football got started in earnest on the West Virginia side of our tri-state, and that means we have already had a shakeup in our Drive Power 5 rankings. Just to explain to you how we do this, and that's what I want to lead off with, so you get used to it. Every week, we have a variety of games on our Kindred Communication family of stations. We've got digital games as well, and so I have brought together all of these voices. In fairness, I could have just threw these things out here and it would have been right, it would have been correct, but I wanted to share it, so if you get mad about it, I'm not the only one you get mad about. If you don't agree with these, I'm not the only one. I share the blame now. Not that there would be any blame, because if I say it's correct, right? That's how this works, right? You know, the host says it is correct. Yeah, you get that. You understand what I'm saying here. No, in all seriousness, though, we are putting this together every week, and we've got it now almost to a science. So the new Power 5, this is our Power 5, the Drive Power 5, and we'll do this every week. And we've already got a shakeup. Huntington came in as the number one team, and now Huntington losing to Spring Valley in an amazing game. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, I've got the game for you right now on our website, WRVC.com. You want to go back and listen to it. It was an exciting game. And Spring Valley wins this one 29-28. And so Spring Valley beating the number one team in our Drive Power 5. So Spring Valley 1-0 and number one, vaulting up. Everyone giving them a lot of respect. Raceland continues to be impressive. Raceland beat Russell 53-14. So that caught a lot of people's attention, and we are ranking them number 2 in our Power 5. And then Huntington High didn't fall too far. You lose by 1 point, you're still considered to be a contender for the state championship. You're just going to have to make sure you can't stumble again. Number 3 in our Drive Power 5. And then the Ironton continues to do what Ironton does, and that's just win with the victory 29-26 over Jackson. So Ironton is number 4 with a 2-0 record. And then George Washington, by virtue of beating Cabell Midland, works its way into our top 5. So George Washington beating Cabell Midland on Thursday 28-21. And so now George Washington in the Drive Power 5. So congratulations to all those schools. We will re-rank them next week after the games, and we'll post that to our website, WRVC.com. And, of course, you can follow me on social media. As soon as it's ready to go, I will release it, and then we'll talk about it here on the show. So what do you think? You think, did we get it right? Did our collective of broadcasters get it right? Spring Valley, the best team in the tri-state, followed by Raceland, Huntington, Ironton, and then George Washington. As far as we're concerned, that's the Power 5 in the Tri-State. Now, our player of the week is going to be Spring Valley quarterback Dalton Fouch. 9 for 16. 9 of 16. 170 yards passing. Hit the ground 14 times, rushing for 105 yards. Had a couple touchdowns there. Had a beautiful 62-yarder. And, of course, the 2-point conversion. That won the game for Spring Valley. Have some good defense as well. Huntington High did have a chance. Huntington High had an opportunity to win this game. So it was an exciting game. It was fun to listen to. And if you missed it, you want to go back and listen to it, you can listen to the Huntington version of this game on 930's website. That is WRVC.com. So that's our website, and we'll try to post more audio like that. So our game of the week, we will post that every week, so you can go back and listen to it if you didn't get a chance to listen to it the first time. So some interesting matchups coming up this week. We'll be talking about Spring Valley is going to be taking on Portsmouth this week. Huntington's going to be facing off against South Charleston. Raceland taking on Rowan County, the Vikings. So you've got that as a good matchup, I think. Ironton Fairland, that's probably going to be a fun matchup for a lot of fans in the Tri-State. And then you got George Washington taking on Ashland. We're going to see if Ashland can maybe work its way into our top 5, our Power 5, or if GW will continue on. And then Cabell Midland's got Capital. And maybe Cabell Midland can work its way back into our Power 5. I mean, this is really, we're looking for the best of the best in the Tri-State. And these are the 5 best in the Tri-State. You can be in this poll as long as you win. Probably, if Huntington loses again, it's going to be out. I'll tell you that right now. I don't think 0-2 is going to get you in our Power 5. 1-1 probably keeps you there, and you can build on that. But if you start out 0-2, you're probably, even though you're a really good football team, you might drop out. So keep that in mind. If these teams continue to win, this might be a little closer to what reality looks like at the end of the day for the poll. But you lose, you drop. I mean, look at Cabell Midland. Cabell Midland was ranked high last week in our Power 5, and it's out now. Huntington High dropping from 1 to 3. Can they hang on to 3, work their way back up to 2 or 1? So a lot of football to be played, and, of course, Friday nights, high school football right here on ESPN 94.1 at AM 930. And then our player of the week, Spring Valley quarterback Dalton Fouch. So congratulations to that young man. We're going to keep track of all this. We'll have a player of the year, and, of course, we'll have our player of the week. Matt Perry, who calls the Spring Valley games, going to get a chance to hopefully here soon talk to Dalton about his performance. So we'll have that later in the week. As something else we're going to try to do also, we want to try to get these kids on the show on a weekly basis. So we're not just doing this. We want to actually make sure kids are getting exposure. We're talking about some of these great performances, and we're talking more about high school football with you. So there will be some opportunities to talk to some of these young men about their performances. I'm looking forward to that. So that's some of the things that we're doing to talk a little bit more high school football. But, of course, I know you want to talk herd football, and I do too. It's game week. That means we're ramping up if we haven't already. You've got your tailgate supplies ready, right? You're doing your final preparations. You got to make sure that you have your hot dogs ready, your hamburgers. What do you make on your tailgate? You have some special recipe. And are you going to be bringing some of that over to me on where the stage is? I think I haven't seen the layout just yet where I exactly will be, but I'm going to be on some part of Thunder Street, the West Law. I'm going to be in that area somewhere. I think I'm on the stage again. So that means if you've got some great tailgate food, I need to know about this. I need to know what your specialty is. And this is for those of you, this is for the real tailgaters. If you're out there tailgating at least 3 hours before game day, I'm talking to you. If you're showing up about an hour before, and that's fine, that's cool. I'm not making fun of you, but if you're out there at least 3 hours before the game and you got your grill fired up, you've got your hot tray heating up the food, you've got your little mini crock pots, you know what I'm talking about. You've got your spread ready to go. I need to know about this. I absolutely need to know about this, so keep that in mind. Let me know what you got. Bring me a little sample plate. We'll work out the arrangements here. You know, it's going to be fun. We got some new things happening at Jones T. Edwards Stadium. I was over there the other day on Saturday. If you didn't get a chance to hear that, it's posted now on our website as well, wrvc.com. I also posted that on Twitter. So, some of those things like that, it was Saturday when I talked to Coach Huff. So, not necessarily going to run that back here today on the show, but I will post that for you on our website and, of course, on social media so you can go back and listen to it. Coach talked a little bit about that, the mock game today in his presser to the Sunbelt media. So we'll hear a little bit from him in the next few minutes. We've got several things coming up today. Soccer is in action tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll recap what happened with the Herd over the weekend. And I want to hear from you. The text line is open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So that is our text line number to be a part of the program. Looking forward to everything that we are going to do. Texter, and I love this. I can't read them all exactly when they come in, but a texter texted about the game. We talked about Huntington High and Spring Valley being the game of the week in the Tri-State, and texter wrote in, during the game, Paul, this is a barn burner game. It was back and forth. It was a fantastic game. So if you listen to it or if you've watched it, we got the video stream posted as well on the website. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it or listen to it, we got you covered. It was a fun game. It's what I expect when Spring Valley and Huntington High get together. Two of the best teams in the state of West Virginia playing week one. Would this outcome be the same if the two teams played again? I don't know. Would it be different if it was on turf? I don't know. Would it be different in a neutral location? I don't know. The one thing I do know is we're going to get a good game no matter what happens. It was a fun, exciting game. The two coaches like each other, respect each other. The kids, they want to get after each other, but there's a healthy rivalry there. It's a healthy rivalry. Nothing venomous about it. I mean, look, some talent on both those squads, some talented kids on both those squads, including our player of the week, Dalton Fouch. So let's talk Marshall football when we continue. We'll get into your text. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up, including Coach Huff, when we continue with this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Monday, August 29th edition, The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's show as we get closer to the start of football season for the Thundering Herd. Do you feel that excitement just yet? Is it still a little subdued? I know some of you, some of you will get all into it on Saturday and it'll ramp up for you. Some others already there. Where are you at right now? Are you excited? Are you ready to go? The text line is open now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. To help you get excited a little bit, Marshall head football coach Charles Huff. Now, one thing that's different about the Sun Belt than Conference USA is there's an actual opportunity to hear from all the coaches as a collective group, or at least a continuous stream. There's a weekly press conference in the Sun Belt. So I hopped on that this morning to hear if Coach Huff had anything to say that, might be breaking some new ground ahead of Tuesday's presser, where I'm pretty sure at that point we're going to have all our questions answered as far as the depth chart, who's starting, everything you want to know. That's going to be answered tomorrow. But today, Coach, just excited about the opportunity to go out there and play some football this week.
Obviously, a lot of teams have already played in week 0, but this is our game week. We're excited about the opportunity. I think we got a really good culture and really good point of up into this point of the camp season. Going to continue to use this week to maximize the last few days that we have, but feel like we're in a really good spot. I'm excited about the opportunity to open up with Norfolk State as a former Hampton Pirate. The battles between Norfolk and Hampton were vicious, very competitive. 13 miles separated, Norfolk State and Hampton, so it was a lot of crossover between each other, but really good opportunity. Coach Odom's done a phenomenal job with those guys. He's in year 2 as well. So I know some of the struggles that he's going through, and I've seen his team improve from, the first game of last year until now. So we're excited. Our players are back in the building. Yesterday was their official off day, so they're back in the building today, ready to start this game week off.
So this is the week, game prep in earnest. Obviously, you've been preparing ahead of time. This isn't just the first day that Marshall's looked at Norfolk State. But one thing that I wanted to ask Coach about, and you're going to disagree with me, I'm fine with this game. As a fan base, I don't think some of you are fine with this game. I think some of you are just looking at this like, it's Norfolk State. What's the big deal? Predict the score. It's going to be 53-13, something like that. We'll do that later this week. We'll predict the score. But some of you, I'm not feeling the excitement from you. So I kind of want to get a feel from Coach because, again, this is a team he's familiar with. He's had experience at this level of football. He knows how competitive this is going to be. This is going to be a competitive game for Marshall. If you make a mistake, you're going to pay for it. If you overlook a team, you're going to pay for it. So this isn't just Marshall shows up, puts its uniforms on, let's go out there and play. We're going to win just by standing on the field. No, I want to get Coach's feel about that, his impressions. That's a quality football team. He's not having any of that talk. He doesn't make one game more special over the others, what I got from him. So you're not going to, this game's a C, and then Notre Dame's an A, and then we're going to, Louisiana's a B, No, A game every time you go out. Every game is the A game. And he's not having that. In his program and his culture, that's not what Marshall football does.
Yeah, well, we talked to our team on Saturday. If you're trying to win a championship, it doesn't matter who you play. You're going out to play your best brand of football. If you're in a program that prepares by the opponent or prepares by outside factors, you're very rarely going to win a championship because you won't be able to build the consistency in your habits and the consistency in your performance to do it. So I got told the team, if anybody in here is overlooking anybody on the schedule, we're never going to win a championship. So we're wasting our time. I think when you start making one game bigger than the other, or this opponent is good, but this opponent is not, I think you create inconsistencies in your message. I think when you create those inconsistencies, you're asking for inconsistency in your performance. So like I told the team, I don't understand what overlooking someone is. Every time we get an opportunity to go out, we're trying to create and reestablish our identity. And if our identity is based on who we play or what the score is or what color uniforms we wear or what time the game is, then we're wasting our time. We can all go home and show up on Saturday because that's how you're going to perform. So I know fans get into, well, we only come to games where it's a good game. They're all good games. We get 12 opportunities at this thing. So every one of them is vital. Every one of them is important. Every rep you take, whether it is in the first quarter, second quarter, wherever it is an opportunity for you to show your talent. Our guys have aspirations of playing at the next level. The NFL just doesn't watch the good games. They watch them all. So if I got an opportunity to put my talent on display, I'm going to put it on display, whether I'm playing Norfolk State or the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to put my talent on display. So I don't think our program or I don't think our players will have that mindset. If you don't respect your opponent, you're asking for them to come out and take your respect. So I think our guys will be focused on what we always talk about in this program is consistency in our performance, consistency in our preparation, and how hard do we play.
We're listening to Marshall football coach Charles Huff ahead of Saturday's game against Norfolk State. He's not overlooking Norfolk State, and I don't think you should be either. And I get it. Marshall should win the game. I can say that. Coach, he might believe it. He probably believes that Marshall should win every game. He's not, we can't win this week. No, he's probably confident that the team can win the game. But he's not overlooking them. I don't think as fans you should. I'm not trying to admonish anybody. I'm not trying to get down on you. I disagree with you. It's Marshall playing football. The opponent's Norfolk State. I think it'll be a fun game. Herd will be up, hopefully, by halftime. Then you can go tailgate if you want. Or you can stick around, watch the second half, watch some of the Thundering Herd, show out and see some guys maybe you might not get to see much of. Who knows? It should be a fun game. Now, if it's going to be competitive, then we start worrying. But I'm not overlooking Norfolk State. It might be a huge score. I still think you're going to get a quality opponent come in and give Marshall what it needs, a good workout before the next game. But the next game is not even on the radar this week. It is Marshall-Norfolk State. Speaking of the next game, you got to get ready to play the game. How do you play the game? Well, Marshall had a mock game on Saturday, and I got to watch a little bit of that. The reason for that mock game, and Coach went into some details on Saturday about it. You can hear that full interview now on our website, wrbc.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Paul Swann. The audio is there. But he talked about that a little bit today as well for some of the people that weren't in attendance on Saturday. The whole idea of getting ready, it's rehearsal. You can practice, but you got to rehearse everything. You got to go through the entire routine. You got to go through the Thunder Walk. You got to go through your whole process. So when you do it on Saturday, it's not the first time you've seen it. And Coach explained that a little bit more.
We did it because with 48 new guys, it's really almost a new team. And then we added another 10 or 11 walk-ons when school started. So you talk about, basically half the team is new. Plus we had a lot of new coaches and new staff members. So we went through the full deal. Our recruiting staff walked through the areas where they were going to be doing the recruiting. On game day, our operations staff went through their process. Our players went through their process. I think hopefully what it will do is it'll allow us to eliminate some of the anxiety and confusion with I don't know or hesitancy of where do I go next, or what is this drill, or what is this time period. Hopefully that'll allow our guys to put themselves in a better situation on game day to where they can manage themselves, they can manage their own energy and enthusiasm and excitement without question of, what's next. So I thought it was really good. The defense hates every time I said the other team scored. And so I told them we should have a shutout in every game then. But it's really good. Just different situations. What happens after a touchdown? Do we just assume we're going for one? When are we going to go for two? Hey, if so-and-so's helmet comes off, how do we manage that rotation at different positions, different points in the game, going from sudden change on offense to special teams to different periods of, areas of the field, the time parameters, 4 minute, 2 minute, last 8 minutes, that time between the end of the first half, beginning of the second half. So I thought we got a lot of work out of it. We were able to film it so we can kind of go back and look at some things from a spacing organizational wise to make sure we're good to go for next weekend.
One other thing the coach talked about today was the team adjusting to not having Rasheen Ali. And Coach had an interesting way to approach that. Instead of, what are we going to do? We don't have Rasheen Ali. What are we going to do? Coach is putting that out there as more of a look at the opportunity. Even though you want Rasheen out there, this now is an opportunity because there was a similar situation and Rasheen Ali wasn't the starter last season.
Yeah, we just told him the story of Rasheen Ali 365 days ago. We didn't do a mock game, but we did a kind of a simulated scrimmage. Rasheen Ali ran with the third group in that scrimmage. That's where he was on the depth chart a week before the game. When we started last year, the first game at Navy, Rasheen Ali was not the starter. Now, don't get me wrong, Rasheen Ali, phenomenal player, and a lot of production that he brought to this program. But we used that as an example because you never know when your opportunity is going to come. And what you do with that opportunity It's totally up to you. Rasheem wasn't on an All-American list. He wasn't on the All-Sun Belt or whatever conference list. He wasn't on any of the award lists. No one knew who the guy was. And he just kept working. His opportunity came, he was ready. So we use that example with every position. You don't know. The guy that we have, quote unquote, labeled as the starter, who knows what play, what opportunity is going to happen, and the guy behind him may be forced into action. So we use that. I think the guys that behind him, LeBorn, Payne, Gordon, Turner, those guys are chomping at the bit for the opportunity. Now we just got to prepare them for Saturday and managing the expectation, managing the excitement so they can go out and perform.
Coach Huff talking to the media earlier this afternoon. We're going to hear more from him tomorrow. His weekly press conference takes place. We'll have that for you here on the show. And we'll have a couple of players as well throughout the week. So our opportunity to go over tomorrow and talk to the team for the first time during a game week this season. We'll hear from the head man tomorrow. And we'll have that for you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got more Marshall news to get into today. Sort of a rewind and look ahead at least. Let's get you caught up. Some things happened over the weekend with a few of the teams. We've got soccer tonight. We got a few things to get into with you. So we'll do that, and we'll still take your phone calls and text. The text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got several things you can comment on. First of all, our high school rankings are out. It's called the Drive Power 5. Spring Valley, number 1 team in the Tri-State. Raceland, number 2. Huntington, number 3. Ironton, number 4. George Washington, number 5. Do you agree with our rankings? You can talk about that. 2, and this is a big one here. Are you excited for Marshall Norfolk State? Are you excited for this game? Or if you're not, why are you not excited? Why is this game maybe not really got you fired up just yet? Yes, it's Marshall playing, but it's Norfolk State. Come on, Paul. Quit trying to sell us something here. It's not a big deal. It's Marshall Norfolk State, right? Yeah. Quit trying to hype it up, Paul. It's meh. Is that you? I want to hear from you. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More on this edition of The Drive as we continue here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We continue on with your Monday, August 29th edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Still taking the temperature of you Thundering Herd fans. Where are you at? Are you a little lukewarm? Is it not hit you yet? It's game week. Are you pacing yourself? Get excited on Monday, but really ramp it up on Saturday. Try to get to that curve, and then, it's like a bell curve. Get high at the right time, come down, and do it again. Is that where you're at right now? Or your engine's not going? I need to know. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Or are you just focused because right now we've got a pretty good soccer matchup coming up tonight? Number 14 in the country, the Marshall University men's soccer team, the 2020 national champions, will face off against the Butler Bulldogs. This is coming up at 7 o'clock tonight. So Thundering Herd already starting off the season right with the win, scoring 5 goals. Let's hope that offensive production continues. Now, the volleyball team unfortunately dropped its final 2 contests of the Marshall Invitational. This was on Saturday. Lost to Wright State and to Evansville. Wright State won match 1 3-1, and then Evansville won match 2 3-0. So hopefully this will be a learning opportunity for Ari Agnes and her squad as the team looks to bounce back. And then the Marshall women's soccer team took a loss to Ohio. The Bobcats won 3-1. This was yesterday at Hoops Family Field. So Herds now 1-1-2. 1 win, 1 loss, 2 ties. So at least you had a 3-point streak going. You break that. Nasty game, Ohio. So this is going to be a good soccer rivalry for years to come, I hope. So that's kind of an idea of what you had happening this weekend for the Thundering Herd. Of course, focus now, for the most part, we turn our attention to football. We'll hear tomorrow from the head coach, Charles Huff. We'll get more of his thoughts on the opponent itself, Norfolk State. I can tell he's fired up already. This was an opponent of his years ago during his playing days, so he knows probably a lot more about Norfolk State than we do, and I'm with Coach. I think it's going to be a good game. You don't overlook this opponent just because this is the home opener, and it's not a sexy, attractive opponent. I think it's going to be a good game. Now, will the score indicate that? I don't know. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair for the Thundering Herd, but if it's not, this is a great opportunity to work those kinks out. And if it is, well, don't look at it as, hey, the Herd's here. Look at it as, okay, got the basics down, on to Notre Dame. On to Notre Dame. But we can't say that until Saturday. So we'll hear from Coach Huff tomorrow. We'll more than likely get the starting lineup. Not as if that's going to matter once game time happens. Things could change. Dynamics could change. Just give us an idea. Okay, what's the starting lineup going to be? We know the quarterback's going to be Henry Colombi. We know a few of the things we're going to see out there, but it becomes official tomorrow. We'll get that starting lineup. We'll get the depth chart, things that I know you're excited about, so we'll have all that for you tomorrow, and we'll hear from the head coach himself, Charles Huff. More coming up, including your phone calls and texts. The phone line is 877-420-TALK. The text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll wrap it up with some news out of Marshall women's basketball today when we continue with this edition of The Drive.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Final segment of today's edition of The Drive at ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I got time for some of your texts, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. College soccer news naming Milo Yosef to its team of the week, its national team of the week. Well, why'd they do that? Only 3 goals in a 5-0 win over VCU. So he makes the national team of the week. And college soccer news also running its own poll. The Thundering Herd moving up to 12 in its rankings. Previously, Marshall was ranked 17th in the college soccer news poll. So that's more news coming out today for Marshall soccer. Marshall women making some news today. I know it hasn't even begun yet, and already Coach Kemper working his way back on the show tomorrow, as the Thundering Herd has added Kennedy Colclaw. She is going to be a special assistant to the head coach, creative coordinator. I don't know what the special assistant job entails and what the creative coordinator duties will be, but I will find out tomorrow. She, of course, played 2 seasons at Marshall. She transferred in from Stetson. 43 games she started in, and she had an average of 10.3 points and 4.2 rebounds per game. She shot over 45% from the field, and she had 3 double-doubles in her 2 seasons for the Herd, 11 in her career. And she was also a 2-time Conference USA Commissioner's Honor Roll honoree. She had a GPA of 3.0 or higher, so she has been added to the staff. Tony Kemper, he'll be on the program tomorrow about 5:30. We'll talk to him. I don't know exactly what a special assistant to the head coach, creative coordinator exactly means, but I will find out. We'll find out together tomorrow for Coach Kemper being on the program. It's always good to talk to Coach Kemper. We'll get more opportunities, of course, as the season gets closer and closer to starting both men and women with Dan D'Antoni and, of course, with Tony Kemper. But some additions today to the staff. So we're getting ready, right? I'm not feeling it from you yet. Maybe it's just Monday. We're all feeling the Monday. I'm not feeling it from you just yet. Are you excited? Are you excited about this? Are you ready to go? Are you just a little bit more focused on, okay, we got to get everything ready for the tailgate first? We got to get ready for all of what's happening? I'll tell you something that will get you excited, and we'll work on this. I don't have a schedule yet, but I got a new intern. By the way, I have a new intern. You know, this show thrives on having free labor, or at least assistants. I got to give him a title because I got to come up with a special assistant to Paul Swann, creative coordinator for the Drive. Some guy, I guess he plays at Marshall's. He plays basketball, I think, for the Thundering Herd. I'm not too sure. I'm not familiar with him. He's a kid out of Columbus, Ohio, I've heard. Yeah, I haven't really seen this kid too much in action. His name's Tavion Kinsey. I don't know if you know him. You guys know him over at Marshall? They say he's a basketball player. So, I got an intern. I don't know when he's going to start, but I was told today, hey, you have an intern. It's this kid. His name's Tavion, showing the ropes. Okay, so I get this kid named Tavion Kinsey. He's going to be my intern here. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, to get Tavion in here to be an intern, that means I'm going to have inside track. He's going to be telling me things that Dan's going to be like, stop. Don't tell him anymore. Stop that. That's where we're trying to get to. Just like, look, Tavion, it's your job now to spill all the secrets. Let us know what's happening with basketball. Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's coming up. We'll be doing that here soon. I'll get the schedule here, and then he can be on the show in a little bit, and we'll get a little bit more insight this season from basketball. He's got a lot to live up to. When I started with this company, we had Shaq Johnson as an intern. And let me tell you, he was probably one of the better producers we've had at this radio station or on this program. He was definitely into the job. He really learned and liked what he was doing, and I could depend on him. It was great. So I'm hoping we see more out of Tavion soon on the program. So, yeah, just a heads up. Wanted to share that with you, that Tavion, in some form or fashion, is going to be on this program here more than just during game season. I haven't got the details just yet, but at least he'll at least make one appearance. I don't know. He'll be on this side, my side of the glass here soon. I'll be over back in my studio, and he'll be over here pushing the button. So, does that mean we're going to talk more Marshall basketball with Tavion? Probably. So, that's just a heads up. I know it got out there a little bit on social media because the boss was taking photos with him today. Like I said, this kid at Marshall, Tavion, you maybe you've never heard of him. He's supposed to be pretty good. So he's going to be on the show sooner than later. Looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to everything that's coming up this week. Coach Huff tomorrow. We're going to hear from players as well. We'll have that. We're getting closer to Thunder Street. We're getting closer to tailgating on Saturdays. We are definitely excited for the home opener. I hope you are as well, and I hope you come out on Saturday. Come out early, see us on Thunder Street. Let me know where you're at, your tailgate. Are you going to have something out there that we need to check out? What's your tailgate specialty going to be? And I'm talking to you. If you're set up 3 hours or so before game time, if you're that tailgater, I'm talking to you because I know you've got your rig and your setup ready to go. That means you're preparing the food on site probably. You're cooking it there. You've got some of it already made. You know who you are. If you're showing up an hour before game, just rolling in, and that's cool too. I would do that a lot of times. Get there when I get there. But if you're there early with me on a Saturday, we need to talk and save some of that tailgate stuff for me. Look, I got a hungry crew we got to feed. It's going to be me, Bill Cornwell is going to be there for a quick cup of coffee. Woody Woodrum, I'm gonna drag him up on the stage with me again. You haven't seen the last of Woody Woodrum. Are you excited yet? I am, because coming up here in a few days, Saturday, going to be Marshall, Norfolk State. You got that game for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. If you're not going, you got it on the radio. Thanks for tuning in. Back tomorrow here on The Drive.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.